Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, ICE raids surge. Also, is Tommy Tuberville ready? And more dark money enters the Attorney General's race.
You a hooker? I forgot. I just thought I was doing great with you.
Why rent an Attorney General when you can just buy one? All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and the man about town, the man who knows all the secrets and writes them down, Josh Moon. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Nice. I got a little Michael Buffer in there. I like it. Yes, sir. All right.
The check cleared.
He did. Thanks.
Right.
Overnight was a nice touch.
Hey, I want to get to this real quick, and it's really important. A lot of dark money is coming into the Alabama Attorney General's race, and it's all going to Catherine Robertson. Mm-hmm. And I had I wrote a report this past week where I spoke with an insider inside the Leonard Leo camp. And for those who do not know, you should Google Mr. Leo. He is the person whose money has been reshaping the courts for years. His organization has. And it is growing. The Supreme Court is really Leonard Leo's court. And what they're doing is they're going in and they're backing these candidates for Attorney General so that this group can control all the Attorney Generals in conservative states so that they can change the way our laws are seen and work in this nation. Now, there's nothing illegal about what Mr. Leo is doing, but Josh, when Catherine Robertson gets $1,100,000 for a AG's race, you got to ask some questions.
Yeah, no, we do. I think it's important to point out that most of this is not Leonard Leo's money. Leonard Leo has been very masterful in separating billionaires from their money for this conservative federal court effort that he's been on, and doing these races in states and really very successful in reshaping the judiciary all the way up to the Supreme Court, and now focusing on attorney generals in various states to kind of play the same game as well. And I think people should be very mindful that this is a game of billionaires. Okay, yeah. This is what the wealthy, the ultra wealthy class in America really want to take place, and they want these people in place. And so I think that we're now, if you dump $1.1 million into a state AG race like this, you're wanting something to take place. Yeah. Okay. You're wanting a candidate that's going to follow this track that you want them to follow. And that track is very obvious. We can look at Steve Marshall, who was in RAGA as well, and we can see that the track is we're going to file a whole bunch of lawsuits and send out a whole bunch of press releases challenging anything liberal or woke or whatever at the national level. And I think that's going to be a huge problem for a lot of Alabamians if that is, in fact, their AG.
Because the AG's job is to work for Alabama. But we know an insider who I spoke with, who was granted anonymity to speak on this issue. Mm-hmm. He told me that in 2023, Leonard Leo recruited Catherine mm-hmm. Robertson at a RAGA event in Miami. And Susan, she is painting herself as the biggest MAGA candidate out there. She's wrapping herself in Donald Trump banner, his thinking, his talking points, but she's getting money from somebody that Donald Trump has called a scumbag.
Right. Yeah. She's all Mrs. Trump, and like you said, wrapping herself in the flag of Donald Trump, but yet she's taking money and was selected by Leonard Leo when there's a huge rift between Leo and Trump, so much so that Trump has called him a scumbag publicly. So how can you play that dual role there? I don't understand how that works out.
Well, you can't serve two masters. So
No,
she's
you
going to have
certainly
to serve
can't.
one master or the other. And look, we're going to have a conservative attorney general. I don't think Jay Mitchell is not less conservative than she is. The thing is who owns you? And if somebody owns the attorney general, it's not for the people.
Well,
of
the
Alabama.
Attorney General of Alabama should be about the business of Alabama,
Right.
not about changing the federal courts.
That's right. We've been getting a very serious question lately, and I think it's one that's apt to be asked. And Josh, you've heard this a lot. We're hearing it from what you would call some of the biggest players in Alabama who have met with Senator Tuberville. And after meeting with him, so many have said they're questioning whether he's actually capable of being governor or even interested in doing the job of governor.
Yeah, I think that there've been some meetings, and from my understanding is they've not gone. And this is not a Republican Democrat sort of thing.
No.
Okay, this is a business sort of deal. This is what we're talking about, business people at this point. Okay, and so and those business people have met with him, and they're a bit concerned about what he's going to be like in that role, his engagement with the various processes, his goals of being governor, who he's going to bring onto his staff there to help manage that office. I've heard all of those things over the last few weeks, and I think to be fair to Tuberville, I think those are questions that are often faced with a new governor, especially one coming in after 10 years of Kay Ivey and just kind of a steady ship that she has led here along the way. And so I think most anybody would face a lot of those questions, but I think there are some people who are very, very tentative about Tuberville and what he's going to do and what he's going to be like and his willingness to learn this job. I think they also look back at what he was as a U.S. Senator and they say, here's a guy that really didn't get a lot of legislation passed and wasn't tremendously successful in bringing money back home. And so, what is he going to be as governor? Is he going to put in the effort to do this? And I think that's what they're concerned with.
Yeah, and I think one said to me, and I this is Governor Ivey, whether you like her or not, has been as Josh said, a steady hand at the tiller of the ship. She has kept it steady, and what they're worried about is that probably Senator Tuberville, as one person put it, is at the peak of his popularity. Now, Governor Ivey's popularity has stayed really solid, 75% to 80%, and that's another concern.
Well, here's the difference there. Kay Ivey's had decades of public service at state level. Mm-hmm. She's been in these roles. She's been treasurer. She's been this. She's been that. She knew, she's been a lieutenant governor. So she knows the job. Yeah. She knows what it entails. Tommy Tuberville comes out of football.
Yeah.
And he comes out of being a senator, which, as Josh said, most people see it as he hasn't done a very good job at that. So I think that's very concerning.
Well, they are concerned. And listen, nobody's challenging. So all likelihood he will be governor. Let's just hope he surrounds himself with the best people.
I agree.
We're going to leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Susan, the arrest by ICE agents, by federal agents and police force here in Alabama are growing exponentially. You know, it is, we are one of the most heavily rated states right now. And, you know, they're not just scooping up criminals like we were promised. They're scooping up hardworking folks that have been in these communities, and we live, you know, outside of beautiful downtown Attala, which is also very close to Sand Mountain. You've got Albertville, you've got Boaz, you've got, you know, the Gunnersville. These are places that have a lot of Mexican, Haitians. They have a lot of people here from other Hispanic nations, and they're just scooping them up. And we hear it from people that own businesses up there that it is not, they're not in favor of it because these were their neighbors they've known 20, 25 yeers.
Yeah, they're going in, and you know, the July 15th thing where they went into the El Patrons in Wetumpka area and the Prattville area. And they're just basically, if you're a brown person, go get in the van.
Yeah.
Not checking their paperwork, not seeing, you know, really what they're doing. I think only 3% of all of the arrests that have been made were actually people that had had any violent crime in their past. But the rates now are at 100% over what they were last year.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they went into Lowe's parking lots and just, oh, you're a contractor, get in the van. You're brown, get in the van.
Yeah, well, they definitely rough them up a lot of times before they get in the van.
But I was trying to be polite.
But Josh, look, so there are people who say, well, they're here illegally. Yeah, they are. I get that. But a lot of them have been here, you know, like I said, 10, 20. Their children are Americans.
Well, actually, a lot of them aren't here illegally. A lot of them are here on work visas.
That's true.
A lot of them are here on things that are legal. And this is, I think, one of the biggest problems that we have in this is that our immigration system is not simply here legally or illegally. You know what I mean? And not you have a green card or you don't have a green card, or you're not a naturalized citizen or you are. There are so many different steps and avenues for people to be in this country legally, to have a right to be here and to have all the same rights that you and I enjoy. Yeah. Okay. Not except for voting. All right. Except for voting. All right, but all the other personal rights that we all enjoy, they should be given as well. And what we should expect from any police officer, any law enforcement agent, is that they respect people enough, all of us, to assume that we are all innocent until proven guilty. And that's not taking place with so many of these folks out here now. We have heard hundreds, if not thousands now, stories of people who are citizens or who are here legally, who have been shoved into vans and absconded off into the middle of the night and taken to places and left for days and days and days. And they were here legally this whole time. They had no reason to hold them. The poor guy from the El Patron, the manager, the judge let him go. Yeah. There was no reason for him to be held. And so that sort of stuff, we've got to stop. People use Nazi a lot. But that is some real Nazi level stuff right there, okay? That is some real gathering up people and sending them to camps you're getting pretty close to being able to use the N word on that, okay? And I'm talking about the Nazi word.
Yeah. Well,
and to Josh's point, his work visa was good through 2028.
Yeah, this is the gentleman who was arrested on all the raids you were speaking of. It turns out he was actually a kitchen manager. But had no hiring or firing, and the judge ruled that they had no probable cause to arrest him. Now, he's lived here for 23 years. He has children that are American citizens. And ICE is probably going to deport him very quickly, even though he has a work visa
Right,
that's
he's
good
here
to
legally.
2028. But it doesn't matter. And I think we need to go, the rule of law is being tossed out, and people in Congress and people in the Senate and judges are not doing enough because they're afraid to go against Donald Trump's movement. They are cowards.
And I've seen a new phenomena of, you know, how you can get military uniforms and ammunition like at Army surplus stores.
Right.
There seems to be a movement now of citizens who are pretending to be ICE agents, who are pulling people up. I've seen the video coverage of it, pretending to be ICE agents, pulling people over and trying to get them out of their cars.
Well, anyway, I don't know what to say to that, but what I do know
It's
is
going
that
too far, is what I'm saying.
what Josh is saying, this is the authoritarian playbook. What you do is you find a group of people and you demonize them and make them the others. And then you say, well, we're just going to get rid of the bad actors. Well, along the way, you pick up the good ones too, or you accuse them like they did of Mr. I can't remember his name, but they accused him of being a bad guy, arrested him, and so, but the judge let him go. But again, you demonize them, you make them less than human. They're eating the pets, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're vermin. This is, as you said, Josh, the exact authoritarian playbook that has been used against Jewish people, against different folks in Arab countries. That's been used for decades and decades to take control. It's a horrible thing that they're doing. I mean, and if you doubt the seriousness of this, I want you to just take what we're talking about. Trump has said vermin. He's used the term vermin. He's also used this other terminology where he said these people were poisoning the blood of America. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is straight out of Nazism. Okay. That is the similar sort of language. Actually, it's not even similar. It's almost exact sort of language that was used to vilify Jewish people in Nazi Germany. And listen, I'm not saying that they're mass murdering people. Okay. You don't have to go to the extreme for it to still be wrong. And what they're doing is wrong. And we all know that it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's inhumane. Yeah. But when you got this power structure that's either bought into the idea or is too afraid, as many of our politicians are too afraid, but they've spent all this time scapegoating these individuals, not because they're bad people, but because they are brown people. But they just needed anybody. The Nazis just made the Jews the enemy. I mean, the Turks had their enemy, I can't think of who it was, but they always make an enemy that you got to get them out, and it's okay to kill them too.
That's your first step toward
like
a
the black
dictatorship.
people in the South. African Americans in the South.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rise of George Wallace. This was what happened. I mean, he vilified black people in the South and turned them into something that they're not. And we used terminology back then that we would find atrocious today. And they're using the same terminology against these Hispanic folks, and we're allowing them to be shunned in our communities for no reason.
And one other little point, let's not forget the Japanese internment camps here in America during World War II.
All right, we're not without sin. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Josh, as you pointed out this week, parents were not paying attention when the legislature passed the Focus Act, which means that your kids in school have no way of getting in touch with you and you have no way of getting in touch with them. And if an active shooter comes on, they just got to deal with it because nobody's got a cell phone, nobody's got a smartwatch, nobody's got any way of communicating with their parents, and parents have been used to communicating with their children, knowing where they are, knowing how to get in touch with them. But Josh, in your community and the school system up there, people were absolutely blindsided that they no longer can get in touch with their children during the school week.
Yeah, it was pretty astonishing, really, to see the level of surprise and outrage that was there. I mean, there were some people who agreed with the Focus Act, and the Focus Act basically says that you can no longer have a smartphone or a smart device, including smartwatches, in classrooms, in schools. You can take the phone as long as it's turned off and store it in your locker or in a backpack away from you. But, if something goes down and, I think the argument was, well, it's, we didn't have them in our day, so why do we need them yet? And my pushbaach to that was always, well, hell, we didn't have active shooter drills either.
No, we did not.
Bulletproof backpacks.
So listen, we sent my daughter's 7 in second grade, and we would send her with a smartwatch. They're limited who she could communicate with, and we could communicate with her. But she was under strict rules that I think most parents would, that you use this in an emergency. If you need to contact us, you go ask the teacher. And we told the teacher about it. Everything was fine. I understand that there are situations in classrooms where kids were abusing these.
Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there should have been rules in place for that. But I think this sort of overstep from the state level, we see this a lot from the legislature in Montgomery, overstepping what they should be doing. It caught a lot of people by surprise. And I'll say, in the legislature's defense, it shouldn't have caught a lot of people by surprise because they were quite proud of this act when they passed it, and they held signing ceremonies and whatnot. But I think it demonstrates kind of a disconnect that has taken place between the average person and their government. Mm-hmm. And it is a recipe for disaster for you on a daily basis if you don't pay attention to what's going on.
Well, and Susan, I mean, when you say we did have it back in our day, I mean, come on, man. That's not how the world works.
No.
We live in a totally different world.
We do. And
now.
as Josh brought up with the active shooters, there were so many situations where children who were on the inside of the schools, locked down, were giving information to their parents or to police officers to let them know what was actually happening inside the school. I mean, and I'm kind of outraged about this. Can't tell. But again, it's people not paying attention to what's going on in Montgomery that affects their everyday lives.
And again, for years and years and years, Republicans have told us that they're for limited government. They are for smaller
Not this
government.
bunch.
They're for restrained government. But this is not limited government. This is not restrained government. This is not even conservative government. This is government that wants to control every aspect of someone's life. They talk about parental rights, but then they pass a bill like this that says, up your parents, we're going to tell. But this should be a local issue. Should have been a local issue. They took it away because Montgomery has always wanted to have all the control over everything. That's the way our 1901 Constitution was written, and this is the same way they think today, that they should and control everything.
Yes, in all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, they get down there, they get super emotionally charged about an idea, and then they just go way overboard with it. I mean, this is classic Montgomery.
Yeah.
And I'll say, what stops that? What stops that from happening? What stops that overboard attitude are average people getting involved in the process. How many times have we seen something that was going to be a really screwball idea get halted because people got outraged and started showing up in droves to the public hearings and all these things? if you're not engaged in this, if you're not paying attention, things like this happen. Okay.
That's
And
right.
you may agree with this one. I'm just saying this is an example of something
Yeah.
a lot of people disagree with, and they were caught off guard by it because they weren't paying attention.
Another example of that is HB 445.
Yeah.
People weren't paying attention. The stores weren't paying attention. The associations weren't paying attention. But I guarantee you, if they start going down there and knocking on some doors inside that state house,
I mean, they absolutely lied about this.
They did.
Representative Andy Whip absolutely lied about
Yep.
what they were doing. I was lied to by several people who
Yeah.
said, all we're going to do is tax it, regulate it, but it's going to still be legal.
and put
They
an
didn't do that.
age restriction on
Yeah,
it.
they didn't do that. But see, we live in an age where politicians lie with impunity. They've always lied, right?
And then they pat
They've
each
always
other on the
lied.
back for it.
But they have never lied and not paid a price for it. I mean, from the presidency on down, we see politicians every day lying, and voters are okay with it. They are absolutely okay with the myriad of lies that are told. And you know what? In Congress, it's inhabited by jellyfish on the Republican side and dead fish on the Democratic side. And nobody is doing anything about it, Josh.
Well, let me put a little
No,
point right
they're
there.
not.
They want to put the 10 Commandments in the school, but they don't want to follow them.
Oh,
Thou
no,
shalt not bear
false
false
witness or
witness.
any of that stuff. Oh, no, we can't have that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no.
I just had to get
No,
that
it's
one.
no. Listen, you're right. It is. I don't know. There are so many times. There are things that I report on now that and stories that I hear that would have absolutely ended the careers of politicians. Not 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It would have been a game ender for a lot of people. And now it's just brushed off. I mean, some of the stuff that Donald Trump told a story about his uncle teaching the Unabomber. And it was a completely fabricated story that never happened. None of it happened. And it was just Tuesday. It was just Tuesday that day. I mean, nobody even talks about it anymore.
No.
I mean, it's just the thing, and that's just a minor example of things. I mean, the outright utter lies that take place on a daily basis now that are just acceptable, and the outrageous, ridiculous behavior, Jeffrey Epstein, that that occurs all the time. It's just, I mean, it's so off the charts. I don't even know what to do with people anymore.
Well, it is, we are living in strange times. Orwell missed the boat on this one. This is weirder than 1984. But anyway, we're going to have to leave it right there. You've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.